Welcome back, everybody. You know what that sound means. Today is Friday, June 9th, and we're back with another episode of Betting the W.
Yes, sir. 27.
27. That's a lot of episodes that we've done. I didn't even realize it was that many. 27 episodes in, and the Las Vegas Aces are no longer undefeated.
No, they're not.
That is our leading story. A big surprise out of the WNBA last night. It kind of looked like the Aces were unbeatable. We've got that during our WNBA recap. We'll be talking the W, talking lots of other things, and let's get right into it with our tailing and fading. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, tailing and fading is our time to talk about the news of women's sports.
Yes, sir.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. We got tailing, which is things we like, and we got fading, which is things that we are not so hot on. This week, would somebody else like to start, or would I like to start?
I would love to start.
Go for it, Damon.
All right.
Kick us off.
I'm tailing. This might be a controversial opinion. I'm tailing the Indiana Fever.
Whoa.
So last week they lost by 4 to the Aces, who were undefeated. They were undefeated after that game, too. And they lost by 5 to the Sky in overtime. Now, you don't usually like to see losses, but those are good losses. And the Fever really run the gauntlet so far. They've played New York once, Aces once, Connecticut twice, and the Dream in the Sky. All of those are playoff teams. Unless, the Dream don't play basketball. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
So over the next 2 weeks, they got Minnesota, Phoenix, Washington, Chicago, Atlanta, and Seattle. This Fever team isn't bad. I mean, they're not good.
They're not good.
They're not bad. And I can see them walking out of this 2-week stretch with 3 to 4 more wins.
I could see that. They definitely have a favorable schedule coming up.
Yep.
I would argue that the Sky loss was not a good loss, though.
No.
Because they were up with 2 seconds left, and they just... Everyone always accuses teams of tanking when they're just terrible, but if there's ever evidence of them tanking to get another number one pick, they didn't play a hint of... They didn't even pretend to play defense on Marina Mabry at the end of the game. I think they're not in a winning mindset, but they play a bunch of teams that are not very good coming up. So, hey, maybe they will go on a run coming up here.
And you can kind of say the same about that Aces game. It might just be that this is a really young team, and they don't, the Aces are more experienced. The Fever led in most of that game.
They did. They actually did
in the last 5 minutes. I think some of that was the refs.
Sure.
That's just me though. And if you really think about it, the Fever don't want to make the playoffs this year because the bottom 4 teams get in the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And they were so bad last year that their lottery odds, because the lottery odds are based on the last 2 years, they were so bad last year that they'll have good odds this year as long as they're not in the playoffs.
Back-to-back number one picks to get Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark potentially would be huge.
Ridiculous.
That would be an insane duo.
All right.
All right, good Taylor. What are you fading this week, Damon?
I'm fading confusing rules. So last week I was hyping up Carly Samuelson. Then she got dropped, the day after.
Which was hilarious.
But then she got re-signed right after that. Go Carly.
Also funny.
Hilarious. Very confusing. One of the more confusing things I've seen in professional sports.
Very dumb.
So I looked into it, and there are a whole lot of rules. I'm still confused, but I'm gonna try and explain it. I read an article by Richard Cohen. He explained it much better than me. But I'll try and walk you guys through it because I'm sure you guys are as confused as I was.
I would love to be enlightened.
All right. So to start the year, Carly Samuelson signed a hardship contract with the Sparks because Jasmine Thomas and Azurá Stevens were hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't have 10 players, so they needed a bottom. They brought in Carly Samuelson. And she was also designated the pregnancy replacement player to Leishia Clarendon, right? So that means that when Stevens came back from injury last week, they had to cut Samuelson. Okay?
They had to?
Yeah, they were pushed over the hardship limit.
Okay.
So they had to drop her. because she was designated that replacement player.
Okay.
So to combat this,
Why did? But she was also designated as the pregnancy replacement.
yeah.
So shouldn't they still have had room for her?
Well, that's the thing. So they dropped her, so now they didn't have a pregnancy replacement player, right?
So
Okay.
they picked her right back up.
So they also dropped Joyner Holmes to
Okay.
clear a roster spot and bring back Clarendon, convey her contract from pregnancy leave to just a normal contract, right?
Whoa.
Okay.
And then now they have that pregnancy spot open.
Okay.
So Carly's sister, Katie Lou, is away on pregnancy leave.
Yes.
So they brought Carly back to fill her spot. And because Katie Lou's not expected to come back, it's essentially a full year contract.
Very clutch of her to be pregnant for her sisters on her sister's behalf to get that roster spot.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
That's a
That
lot.
doesn't make
That's a
any
lot.
sense at all.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, nothing really happened.
Nothing
it's
changed.
pretty much the same roster.
We just had a big discourse about them dropping Carly Sanderson just for them to pick her back up right away.
Yeah.
Well, we're now a legal podcast. We just explained contracts to you. That is unnecessarily confusing, and wouldn't be an issue if there were more roster spots.
There you
I
go.
hate to be in that
It
office.
always comes back to that. Like, well, she's not injured anymore, but these two are both pregnant, so I think we got room for this other girl that we can fit her in. All right, good tailing and fading, Damon.
I like that.
Kate,
Me?
Yeah.
Well,
would you like to do a tailing and fading?
no.
Or would you like to completely change the game?
I would like to completely change the game.
Revolutionize.
I texted Max this morning and I'm like, Max, my boy, I can't find a good fading. Can't find anything to fade. I got hit back with the, and I quote,
Whoa.
stop with these positive ass vibes. So,
Can't all be good.
I don't know, this week I'm feeling pretty good. I got 2 tailings for you guys.
All right,
I got
all right.
positive ass vibes.
Let's hear it.
My first one is Play Society carrying the merch game for the W.
Big time.
Mhm.
They have always had good stuff since last season too, but they dropped the coolest New York Liberty hoodie this morning,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna sell out by the end of the day. Mediums and XLs were already gone, and that was after 10 minutes after they tweeted it.
Brutal for a
Dang.
medium and XL pod.
As a podcast that lives exclusively in that range, that's a tough look.
Yeah, but like for me personally, huge merch person, huge for franchises. I'm wearing a CT Sun shirt under this. It's gonna strip later on in the pod at some point when it came up, but get our viewership
That's
up.
Patreon.
Yeah.
But that's just one thing. I'm glad the W partners with Play Society, who's run by one girl who like creates all the designs,
Really?
which I think is incredible.
That's impressive.
I wish I knew her name off the top of my head, but I found that out this morning, and so I just think that's super cool. There's some unique merch, so we can all be drippy.
I agree.
So
Gotta be drippy.
Gotta be
drippy.
drippy.
Someone's got to be the drip king. After he lost his throne.
Fading Max. Tailing.
We do need good merch though.
We
Yeah.
do.
Because I was on Fanatics really looking for
Yeah.
jerseys, and could I wear a women's jersey? Probably. I'm sure it doesn't fit that differently, but like, why not just make them for men too?
But-
Why not just make them that
They
cut?
look smaller. The
Yeah.
jerseys genuinely look so tiny,
Yeah,
like just narrow.
yeah.
And it says men's, and I'm looking at them. I'm like, I could not get that from one of my guy friends because it'll come in the mail and it won't even fit me.
Right.
Like
If you're
it's a
they
completely
have
different
unisex jerseys that are you have to get a custom one. There are no like
Yeah.
designated player ones. It's a merch emergency.
Yeah, and then
Big time
Emergency.
emergency.
Shout out Josh Harris. Screw Fanatics.
Yeah, no, bad job, Fanatics. What are you doing?
bad job.
On every company in the world.
How do
Alright.
we fade Fanatics in
Yeah,
my
that's-
tailing and
That
tailing?
should have been your fade.
Yeah,
Facts, I
exactly.
should've. I just don't think as negatively as you guys.
I guess so.
Haters.
Bad vibes.
Gotta be a hater.
Tailing part 2. I found out also this morning, also on Twitter, right after I saw the Play Society drop.
You were on fire.
I was on Twitter. Alyssa Thomas and Dewana Bonner are dating.
I read it. It's
Yeah.
on here, but
Yeah.
that was the first time I had ever heard that.
They
That is
are-
shocking.
And like, it's not hidden. Like, they post all the time, and I'm looking at them, and I don't know if I'm like,
Yeah,
like
right.
good friends.
That's
And,
gal pals.
gal pals, but look at them.
Team bonding.
They can't see, but yeah, team bonding. Look how cute.
That is romantic.
That is romantic as hell. I hope they're doing great. I love the
Well,
song.
I'm sure
This
they
is
are
the part where I
after
would
DB
shred.
put up 41.
DB got some fantastic post game experience.
Yo. Woo.
AT, you might get MVP.
In the bedroom. Anyways.
Yo.
Anyways, that's my tailing and tailing. Max, would you like to lead us into your negative ass?
Well,
tailing fading?
I've got plenty of both for y'all. But I did one thing I thought of to build on inter-team relationships. I've never heard anyone call Courtney Vandersloot CVS. I think that would be a sick nickname. Why does nobody break that out? We've got so many initial
Well,
nicknames and nobody ever calls her CVS.
I didn't know about Kalia Copper's KFC.
Yeah.
I didn't know about
Kalia
that until
Copper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
There
But, like,
are a lot of
that's
good
my choice.
there are a lot of good nicknames, but I feel like she always just gets Sloot. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not throw
CVS is handed
CVS?
to her.
CBS.
Exactly. Your parents were like
Kalia
this.
doesn't have the F.
her name is
It's
CVS.
handed to her, yeah.
And I'm gonna start calling her that. Go for a run to the drugstore.
Pharmacy
Call
pod.
CVS. Yeah.
Big Pharma.
Big Pharma.
Incredible.
All right. I've got some tailing and some fading for us here.
Let's
So
go.
first and foremost, I'm tailing Rose Zhang. So Rose Zhang was the greatest college golfer of all time. I believe she won the NCAA championship like all 3 years she was in school. Went pro earlier this month, and literally 3 weeks after she won the Natty at Stanford, she won her first tour event on the LPGA.
Wow.
Like just turned pro, and it was an exciting one too. I saw the highlights, and it went to overtime, whatever the golf equivalent of overtime. There's no time, but
At the
like
buzzer?
it was a play. It was like they do like
Buzzer.
an extra hole if there are people tied. So they were tied. She was up. She kind of choked a little bit, but they ended up tied. And then she won the overtime
That's
hole
big.
and won her first event. Straight out of Stanford. Got props from Tiger. Was all over SportsCenter. She is gonna. I can't even jokingly claim to be a women's golf expert or fan. I don't care about golf at all. But Rose
She
Zhang,
makes me want
Rose
to.
Zhang piques my interest in women's golf. So
There you
this
go.
should get some eyes on the sport for sure. And a bad week for golf, by the way.
Yeah, for real.
Way to go, LPGA. Who I also found out is low-key also backed by the Saudi.
Yeah.
The Saudi
Are they
fund.
not part of
Huh?
the PGA?
They're a different thing.
They're completely different.
But they're also have investment from the Saudi investment fund. So golf in general, I'm fading this week. But Rose Zhang, keep killing it. I'm tailing Rose
There
Zhang.
you go.
Tailing women.
Absolutely. And I
Fading golf.
again, I'm not a golf expert, but I'm going to be very staunch in my claim that Rose Zhang is the GOAT. There will never be another player as good as Rose Zhang, and there never has been before. GOAT status already for Rose
Early
Zhang.
entry into the GOAT conversation.
It's already up there. She's already on the board. I'm also tailing the Dallas Wings. So, a hand up, but I gotta be real. Before the season,
Keep it.
be real. I was very adamant in my support and fandom for the Washington Mystics preseason. I was all on the Mystics bandwagon. I still have love for the Mystics, but I think the Dallas Wings have taken over as my favorite team in the WNBA right now. And I am true to myself in that I love exciting basketball, and the Wings are just so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily a great team. I don't think they're as good as the Mystics, but they are way more fun than the Mystics.
Yeah.
They are probably the most fun team, probably outside of the Aces, but the Aces are stacked.
I thought the Sky in there.
The Sky are fun. Sky are kind of like gritty, like Duke was. Like they play some gross games, but they win games. I think the Wings are just beautiful to watch, and they do it with obviously the big pair of Arike Gumbuwale and Satu Sabali, both MVP candidates. Very, very much in the thick of that race, which is crazy that they're both putting up unreal stat lines. But they also get support from like a rotating cast of characters, which is very interesting. Like there is no true third option because the third option could be anybody. The other night we had Natasha Howard went for 20 and 10. Crystal Dangerfield got 17 points the other night. Wednesday night, Kalani Brown, who, all due respect to Kalani Brown, I'd never heard of her. I did not know who that was. She went for 17 and 15 on Wednesday in a win over the Mercury. So when they don't have that support, it gets bad because you can't just rely on Sabali and Gumbuwale, especially like they do have off nights. Like Arike had 8 points the other night. It was a tough scene. But when those two are playing at their best and they have a couple, big nights from their supporting cast, that the Wings are a really good team and they're really fun to watch. And I don't know that they're necessarily built sustainably, but they've got their Batman and Robin, and then they've got a rotating selection of Justice League characters.
Justice League.
I think. I don't even know if that's a problem.
I was thinking when I was trying to think of more stuff to tell, as you all know,
good vibes.
I have been set great vibes. I've been called a bandwagoner for most of my sport career.
You are.
I wonder why.
I'll call you that right now.
Yes. I'm tailing bandwagoning, guys. I think it's so fun to watch this, like some team just have like a really great game and be like, holy shit, I want to buy their shirt. Again, I love merch.
I think you just love companies.
I think I am just
She's a corporate shill.
Anyways.
Capitalist pig.
We were tailing capitalism?
Well, when you put it like that,
we were tailing corporate greed. So I guess we are tailing the PGA this week.
There we go.
In that way.
Yeah, Josh Harris. Great guy.
Good job, buddy.
I love fanatics.
Invite us to your party in the Bahamas. It sounds awesome. What did you say? How did that conversation start?
Bandwagoning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I think there's definitely a time and a place for bandwagoning. I think it's... I make fun of you for it because you were chronically a bandwagoner. You can't see a team win without buying their shirt.
I bought the Las Vegas Aces hat when they won the championship.
There you go. After they beat our Connecticut Sun.
And it's a really ugly hat. And I've never worn it.
There's probably some great Oklahoma softball merch that you can buy.
There you go.
I don't
home
believe
field.
Oklahoma's a real state, so I'm not going to rep that.
Speaking of which, I am fading parody in sports. I brought back parody earlier in March, if you'll recall, with the Iowa Hawkeyes. I led them to an upset win over the University of South Carolina in the tournament.
Caitlin Clark, Max Clifford.
One and the same. We both contributed to that run.
Never seen them the same.
Unfortunately, the same could not be said for the juggernaut of softball. We said it, credit to us actually, in our softball preview podcast. We said that Oklahoma was going to be hard to beat, and they were.
They won.
So congratulations
Shocker.
to the 2023 Baylor Bears softball team for being literally the only team to beat the Oklahoma Sooners in a softball game this year.
Hang a banner.
Hang a banner for that one. Didn't even make the tournament, but you got Oklahoma once.
And
it wasn't even... Party. Oh, I'm sure. Pop the champagne for that one because this is the best college softball team of all time. They literally lost one game. There have been good teams that have lost 2-3 games. No team has ever come this close to undefeated. And it's their third championship in a row. And honestly, for the last couple of years, I've been a big Oklahoma fan because they were good for the sport.
Bandwagon.
Big time bandwagon. Big time bandwagon.
No, we're
this
cool
guy.
They're fun to watch. And I thought they were good for the sport, and they are because they get eyes on the sport. But now it's turning into like a dominant run that is just getting a little annoying. And I would like to see another team succeed, but There was no room this year. Oklahoma, I didn't even say what they did. They won the Women's College World Series in 2 games over FSU. They were pretty good games. Like, FSU was competitive, but Oklahoma just overwhelms. Their pitching is so good. The offense, like, they're always in it because they could just crank homers at any given moment. Their defense is incredible. Like, their center fielder was robbing homers left and right. It was an incredible run to watch, and if it wasn't, like, so dominant, it might have been more fun to watch. But
Yeah.
Oklahoma Sooners, they've won 53 games in a row. Could very easily climb up to triple digits next year because I don't see them slowing down at all. I will be picking against them in next year's softball preview show, and I will be wrong about that because they will win it again next year. So, parity in the sport of softball did not come to play this year. The Oklahoma Sooners came to play.
Yes.
And also, I am fading Mother Nature. This podcast is all about supporting women and uplifting women, but Mother Nature had a rough week this week and was not very kind to the world of sports. Almost every series at the Women's and Men's College World Series were delayed in some form or fashion by rain or lightning. It was a disgusting week down south and in the Midwest where all the softball and baseball is played at this time of year. And the games that weren't in the South were gorgeous weather, and they went off perfectly. So we had lots of rain, lots of lightning down south. Delayed the game 1 of the Women's College World Series didn't start till 9 p.m. And I was up very late, was very tired the next morning. Missed Scott Van Pelt, missed the late Sports Center.
Oh my God.
And
It's a bad night for you.
it was a rough night. It really was, and Mother Nature's to blame for that. Mother Nature also to blame for the smoke that enveloped the entire darkness that enveloped the northeastern United States. If you don't live in the northeastern United States, there was just a big cloud of fog-like smoke coming from wildfires in Canada that just enveloped the entire region. It was pretty bad here. Like I was hacking up a lung, asthmatic over here. I brought out the inhaler. But it was even worse in New York, and we had games postponed. Lots of baseball games and the Liberty, I don't remember who they were playing, the Liberty game last night, 2 nights ago, was postponed as well. That one, I guess, was because they didn't want people leaving to go to the game. Yeah. That's how bad it was. It wasn't even because the game's inside, but they didn't even want people going to the game. So
New York, if you saw those pictures, it was crazy.
It was just an orange haze. Yeah. It was creepy. It wasn't nearly that bad here, but it was definitely a gross week in the American Northeast.
I'm blaming Mother Nature for me being sick.
Yeah, there you go.
I think
Mother Nature is fading you.
That's insane.
Positive ass vibes.
Positive vibes.
Except for Monday.
Except sick.
Except I'm ill.
So
I sound sexy though.
You do.
Thank you.
The audio listeners are gonna love this.
Yeah, this is a good. Except for when I said I was gonna strip.
Yes.
Well,
they're
gonna rush to the YouTube then. So Mother Nature, it's June. This is your time to shine. It's supposed to be lovely weather. It's terrible weather. Get it together for the rest of the summer, please and thank you. Sincerely, WNBA. We need a beach day. Facts. We need it bad. So that is tailing and fading.
This was a good one, guys.
This was a really good one.
Job, guys.
We're getting good at this. We were getting in our groove. So we're gonna now talk some WNBA slate. Kate, get out of here. All right, now that's just us. Kate was so annoying in that last segment. Damon, we've got a big weekend slate of WNBA games. We got about 5 games tonight, I believe. Let's recap the week a little bit. Anything that we haven't touched on yet. So obviously, the big story, we had 2 matchups, rematches of the WNBA finals from last year, the Sun and the Aces. And it's kind of interesting to see them face off because I definitely expected the Aces to get better, which they have, and I definitely expected the Sun to get worse, which they have not. They've improved. So this was actually, finals rematches that lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
And Aces got the first one, but last night the undefeated Aces fell to the Connecticut Sun.
In a bad way too.
And it was
not particularly
it was
close.
ugly. And somebody mentioned that DeWanna Bonner, 41 points, Sun franchise record tomorrow night. We'll talk more about that later on.
I mentioned something else about the Bonner.
Yes, we did. But it was a great night for the Sun as a whole, for the Bonner-Thomas household. So we have some. It's very competitive at the top.
Yeah.
And we had some. Storm got their first win. Beat the
That was a
Sparks.
big win for
Beat the
them.
Sparks like 3 days after I said they would beat the Sparks.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, by the
Huge
way.
comeback. I went to bed.
Jewel, yeah, true, yeah. He came out and they made it a game. They went down by like 20 in the first quarter, so
Yeah,
it was a
4 points,
shock to see
obviously.
them back in the game. Storm get their first win. Jewel Lloyd is just an unreal scorer.
Ridiculous.
Has to be. Is completely taking over scoring for that team. So I believe, does everyone have a win, or are the Lynx? The Lynx have a
Everyone
win
has
too.
one.
So everyone has at least one win. So
Parity.
there is some
And at least one loss.
some interesting things happening at the bottom, some competition at the top too. So we've got a great early season going. Hoping this keeps up throughout.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of looking like the Aces were just going to run the table.
Yeah.
But now there's a team that can compete with them.
Yeah, and I'm glad that the Liberty aren't really.
the Liberty
what they were.
aren't a super team either. So all this, all the belly aching about
Yeah.
super teams, and now the Sun are, leading the league with what they've, kind of a hodgepodge constructed
Yeah.
team. So, going into this weekend, what is your matchup to watch?
I don't know why, but I'm just talking about the Liberty.
Mhm.
This Liberty Wings game on Sunday is really jumping off the page at me.
I don't know why. Two of the most exciting
Yeah,
teams
I
in the
don't know
league.
why.
It's just intriguing.
It's kind of like it'll be fun to watch.
I believe so.
I think Satu and Natasha against those bigs in New
Mhm.
York will be incredible to watch. I think Arika and Sabrina. Well, Sabrina's been struggling all year. Really, it seems like
Mhm.
ever since I picked her to win MVP. Yikes. Arika in the past few games hasn't been really.
No, she
Arika-esque.
hasn't been doing what she's used to.
No, so they're both struggling. Maybe they could turn around this game. Just be cool to watch them battle and the bigs go at it. I think this will be a great game.
Yeah, this is definitely a game where you want to see offense. You don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to see the bad version of Libs Wings. You want to see high scoring offense.
Yes.
Speaking of a game that I think is going to have a lot of offense, the Sky and the Aces intrigued me on Saturday. Two of the league's top teams, but it comes with a big caveat that the Sky play at the Sparks at 10 p.m. tonight, and then I read the schedule wrong. I thought they played tomorrow, and okay, so they actually do get a day off. So this will actually be a pretty competitive game. I thought they were doing it back to back at LA and then at Vegas, because the schedule makers have kind of treated Vegas and LA like they're the same city, even though you still gotta travel. They've been doing a lot of back to backs in those too, but I guess they do get a day off. So I think this will be a very competitive game. I think it will be high scoring.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm going to take the total over now. I was going to just hammer the Aces because the Sky. I thought the Sky were running back to back, but since they're both getting a day off, going to come back looking good. I think the Aces are going to come back with a vengeance after dropping one this week. I think they're going to have a big weekend, but I think I just like a lot of points on Sunday in Vegas.
And it's funny, we like to watch the fun teams.
We do. We love fun basketball.
We're not picking the Mercury out here.
No, we are not. We're not going to waste our time with that nonsense. So those are
watch the first game.
Yeah, well, yeah. So those are our favorite matchups this weekend. Who is an individual that you're going to be watching this weekend?
Jewel Lloyd. I think so. DeWanna Bonner had 41 last night. Brianna Stewart had 45 earlier this year. Jewel Lloyd's having at least 40 this week.
Yeah.
I think she's having 50.
Ooh.
And I think it's against the Mystics. The Mystics have horrendous vibes lately.
Yeah, the Mystics are really trending down.
Yeah, they play them twice. It's happening in one of those games. At least 40, maybe 50.
I would love to see
Keep
a
an
50
eye out
goal.
for that.
I love that we're seeing just like dominant scoring,
Mhm.
like a little bit of star power coming through, and if anyone's gonna score 50, like Jewel Lloyd is gonna be the one to.
And we talked about it after Donovan Mitchell. in the
Oh
offseason.
yeah, who's gonna have?
We did not throw Jewel Lloyd's name in that
We did
ring,
not.
but I think she's dropping 50.
Yeah,
She'll be the first one.
I think that's on the horizon for Jewel Lloyd for sure. She's gonna have a lot of individual accomplishments this year on that Storm team.
Yes, sir.
I am interested to see what we get out of Maddie Siegrist.
Okay.
The Wings have 2 games this weekend. Wasn't really surprising that in the early going of the season she wasn't really featured for the Wings.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned earlier, they have a lot of pieces, a lot of weapons, and she's very early on finding herself in the league. But last night her minutes jumped from 10 in the last 2 games to 19 against the Mercury, and she took the opportunity and ran with it. So she had 14 and 8 on 6 of 9 from the field. Hasn't shot a 3-pointer since her debut. She is just not bothering with that. Yeah. She knows that she's taller, she can beat a lot of guards off the dribble. She's a creative scorer, and 14 and 8 is a solid line for a rookie playing with a lot of high, potent scorers in Dallas. So I'm interested to see where she builds from this. Will they keep playing her a lot? They play Phoenix again. Why not just use that same formula? Just do the exact same thing. It worked last time. I'm a fan of Maddie Siegrist. I think she we tagged her in a post or a story and she liked it, so she's a friend of the pod. Always going to be rooting for her. And just as a college sports fan, I always just root for players who were awesome in college to succeed in the league, because I like to see their names on the big screen. So, rooting for Maddie Siegrist this weekend.
Yeah.
Interested to see how her minutes are looking.
Yeah, if she gets big minutes, she's not someone that struggles with confidence.
No, not at all.
Most of the rookies, other than I'd say her and Zaya Cook, probably the most confident rookies in this class.
Definitely. And
that's a big thing for rookies, especially, is you want to see them just go ahead and hoop.
Yeah, so many of them are kind of reserved, kind of trying to play a limited role, but she'll go out and she'll start shooting if she needs to. If her team needs it from her, she'll do it. So that's a little weekend preview. Damon, we need to get back on track, or we need to get on track for the first time with our bettingthew Friday parlay. We've given out 3 parlays. They have just gotten terrorized. We've had some close misses. We've had some bad misses. What do we say? I know we usually shoot for 3 legs. Mm-hmm. What do you think about a 2-leg parlay?
We'll go 2 legs.
Just trying to, nothing crazy on the odds. We're down.
We need a win.
We're down 19 units. We need a win for the people.
You gotta see one go through the best.
We need it. We need to get one. So, you're high on the Sky.
I had one, yeah. The Sky. They're plus. Oh, they were plus 3.5. Now they're plus 4 against the Sparks tonight.
That feels kind of like easy money.
I think that's easy money.
I
mean, we've been saying that all.
We have
the past 3 weeks, and we have not gotten.
We can't really talk like we know what we're talking about anymore. But the Sky are a better team than Sparks by a wide margin. They're on rest. I don't see any reason why they won't come out fast.
Exactly. Plus 4 is a lot of points, I think, for them.
Yes.
If we want to get really crazy, we can go money line.
Based on our track record, let's not get too crazy. Yeah. Let's take the safe bet at plus 4. Let's handicap that, and let's look at maybe a total.
Okay.
We've done all right with the totals. We bounced back with the Sparks Mercury over last week. Let's look at a total here. So, what do we?
Mystic Storms is really low.
It is. I was looking at that. I don't like
either of those teams. I think if we're going positive vibes, we're a vibes pod.
Definitely,
as Kate said.
Definitely bad vibes. But these are, at their best, 2 offenses that can score.
Yeah. And if Jewel Lloyd goes for 50, that's a third of the points right there.
Exactly. If Jewel Lloyd has a good night, if EDD has a good night, if Shakira Austin contributes, I don't think there's going to be fantastic defense in this game either. 156.5. I'm going to take the over.
I like it.
I'm going to throw it in there.
2 legs.
2 legs plus 264. We need this. We need this, folks. We need this. We need to bounce back. Plus 264 on the parlay on DraftKings. We're going to put that in. We're going to see one go through the hoop, and then we're going to start a winning streak next week. So, Sky plus 4. Mystic Storm over 156.5. They're both, very standard, minus 110. Parlay them together, you get plus 264. We're gonna get one this week, all right? We're gonna get a W on the board. Tail this week because we know what we're talking about this time around. So that's the BTW TGI Friday parlay. We're gonna get one here. Let's bring Kate in to give us some props. All right, Kate's back. Welcome, Kate.
Do you want that?
Sure. I didn't stop the audio, so
Oh.
There's no need to.
there's no need to. But if you want one,
I
so
do
go.
want one. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Hi.
All right,
Back to, no.
Kate's here.
Hi.
Welcome back, Kate.
Thanks.
So this is another new segment that we've been running with the last couple weeks. I like to call it. I didn't introduce us at the beginning of the show.
No, you didn't. I was gonna stop you. But
Dang,
it was going good.
rough.
My name's Kate Feast.
I'll introduce you. I'll introduce you. All right.
Look who's back.
Welcome back, Kate.
Hi.
Welcome back behind the desk. This is another new segment that we've been running with in the last couple weeks. We like to call it Feast or Famine.
Tell them
Kate Feast for context.
Oh, yeah.
Feast is her last name. So I want you to let me know, Kate, whether these players are going to feast or famine this evening based on these props from FanDuel.
Okay.
So, FanDuel has Kalia Copper's points total at 19.5. She's the premier scorer in Chicago. Will she get a 20 ball tonight?
The F in KFC stands for feast.
Ooh! Ooh! Dang! Okay! Okay!
I like that a lot for her.
That
It seems easy enough.
solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
I'm
Go
big
get a
on that
bucket.
one.
I would be surprised if she doesn't get 20, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a big night for the Sky. How about in Indiana, Nalissa Smith, over under 10.5 rebounds.
Wow. So that's where all the boys go. Leah Boston burned us last week. Couldn't get 5.5.
Yeah, no,
That-
that was.
I didn't realize Melissa Smith was
That's
grabbing
great.
11.
That's a much higher number than I expected.
That is a under for me.
I
wanna believe in that. I wanna see that many. I
mean,
wanna
it's,
see that good of a.
it's fun to bet overs,
Defense,
but 11 rebounds is a lot for anybody.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I looked at that and I was like, I don't. Is that right?
That,
Like,
it feels like an under for sure.
it's definitely a famine.
a famine.
A famine in Alyssa.
A famine in Indiana. So, on the assist front, I
Yeah.
got former Connecticut point guard, current I got current Sky point guard. I didn't realize I have two Sky guards in here.
Yes,
Courtney Williams,
Mhm.
over under 4.5 assists.
I like the over for that one.
Okay.
I think this guy's gonna have a big game.
I think it will be a big game, and I think.
I think the assists are going to Kalia this quarter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I gotta give her the ball.
Those kind of feed into one another. If
Yeah.
Courtney has a big game, Courtney Williams is probably feeding
I
her.
can't famine Courtney.
Exactly.
If I'm feasting Kalia.
Because who's going to be dishing out the dimes?
Exactly. Come on.
5 assists isn't too many,
Yeah, no,
especially
it's
for
not.
a great passer like Courtney Williams.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this goes over either. I like those picks, Kate.
Thank you.
We'll
I
keep-
don't like Melissa Smith's number.
That's a crazy high number. I think that's a
Huge.
trap from FanDuel. I think they just.
I think that's
Some-
a very.
I think
easy
Vegas knows we like to bet overs and sometimes just throws out wild numbers. Like 33.5 goals in the Stanley Cup final.
Oh.
Which is well within reach.
It's
by the way.
happening.
This was
yeah,
a hockey
no, they've been
podcast.
doing good.
All right.
I love these stats.
And now for another segment. So, roll the dice. This is a segment that we've been doing for the last few weeks. We are going to roll 3 dice, then 2 dice, then 1 die. Those 3 numbers that we get will be a stat line that we will predict for a player to get this weekend. So, Damon, start us off with our 3 die roll.
I started off hot, and I have been ice cold.
Oh,
this
yeah.
segment.
I should recap. Damon won week 1. Kate has won the last 2. Kate has had really solid picks. I think Damon and I are picking players that are too impactful, and they tend to go over by a lot.
Carly Samuelson, way over.
Way
14-4 and 2.
Way over. So
The game that got her cut, I picked her.
we need to get back on track. We need to take down the juggernaut that is Kate, that is on a winning streak.
Good vibes.
So let's hit that 3 dice roll. Let's find out what our numbers are for this week.
Whoa.
Whoa, high number.
17.
5, 6, and 6. 17. Okay.
7.
5 and 2. That's 7. And then for the one time, 5.
17.
We got 17.
This is
7,
a
and
huge
5.
game from someone.
This is a
Okay.
big game.
I think, Kate, you got to start us off because you've been so hot.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. That's a. That's-
Wow.
17, 7, and 5 is a big line.
When I look for plays, I try to, look ahead of time. I'm looking in that 10-5.
Right,
3
yeah,
range.
exactly. Like something sort of in the middle. This is a big line.
Okay.
Oh wait,
Actually,
All right.
Max, you got
I've
it?
got mine. I will lead us off.
okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'm going off her last game, which is not her best game, but I don't mind it. I don't hate it. Give me Enrique tonight.
Okay.
Against the Mercury. So same opponent, maybe a very similar line. Give me 17 points, 7 boards, 5 assists. She had about 17, 5, and 2 last game. I think she steps up a little bit. She might go way over on the points. She's liable to do that. But if it's around 20 to 21, maybe, she'll match it up with the other numbers better. So I'm rolling with that. Give me Enrique, 17 points, 7 boards, 5 assists.
Okay. I think the issue here is we always let Kate go last, so she has the most time.
She does. She buys it.
Kate's on a different website than usual, so
I'm trying
to read it.
I'm trying to make this an enjoyable experience for the audio listeners.
Yeah, for real.
By not spending a long time looking at my computer.
Okay. All right.
17 points.
I'm gonna get a little bold again. The issue with 17, 7, and 5 is that 7 and 5, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you're getting 7 boards, it's hard for you to distribute like that.
Yeah.
So 2 names that come to mind: Alyssa Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
big that can distribute.
Definitely.
Jess Shepard of the Lynx,
Okay.
big that can distribute. Now AT definitely scores more,
Yeah.
and she'll be better to get that 17 number. But I think we've talked about this song too much.
This is definitely a song
Maybe-
podcast.
Maybe Dewana Bonner got a. Never mind.
This will be a big weekend. A big weekend for the
Big
Thomas
weekend.
Bonner household.
We've talked about the Sun too much. We've talked about that household too much. I'm going Jessica Shepard, 17, 7, and 5.
That's right. This is a Lynx
Traditional line.
podcast.
There you go.
Don't tell us we're not talking enough about the Lynx. Don't tell us we're ignoring the Lynx. That's a big line from Jess Shepard, and why not?
Why not?
I say why not. All right, Kate.
Okay, you ready?
To go 3 in a row, give us your
So-
perfect line.
In my first thinking, I was like, when I said hold on, I was thinking Kalia. But
You said 19 and a half.
I don't want to go. Exactly. I
Exactly.
can't contradict
Exactly.
myself. And I apologize if I butcher her name. Say
We get
to
canceled.
Sabali.
I say that
He
all
says it
the time.
every episode.
I say that like 5 times an episode, and you still
No, I
messed it
know.
up.
What is it?
Satu Sabli.
Satu?
Satu.
Satu Sabli. I'm thinking her for 1775.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds like her.
I think it's yeah. I know
She
she has that.
I did
in
look at her line. She had 0 assists in her last game.
Oh, good. Well, she's due for.
She's due for 5 assists
Five
in one
assists.
game.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I think we gotta. Do we throw games out there?
What do you mean?
What game we want? Are we saying?
No.
I'm throwing a game out there.
Yes. I said tonight. I said tonight. Wings.
Yeah.
Mercury.
Okay. I'm just looking at it. It's gonna be one of these Sparks games. I'm gonna go on Sunday. Link Sparks. Jess Shepard, please. I need a win.
They playing. I'll go also go tonight.
So
Wings
okay,
Mercury.
Enrique and Satu they're gonna eat. They're gonna
They're
feast
gonna
tonight.
eat.
They're gonna have a great night
They are
together.
fed.
They're gonna do it together, and that's 7
Unlike
boards.
18.
You. What? All right.
Jesus Christ.
This has been a very interesting betting the weekend segment. Always love to finish off a little roll of the dice. Let's end the show and head into the weekend with some walk-off picks.
Can we talk about our records?
Let's address the elephant in the room. He's drunk. So,
The Riz King.
folks, I don't know how many I've gotten wrong in a row. It's a lot. I'm currently sitting at 8-13. Kate is also sitting at 8-13. For a long time, it's been the running joke of this podcast that Kate is in dead last every time. And this week, we are having a battle. I'm trying to avoid the number one pick here. This is a battle for the worst record on the show. I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose this one. Damon's sitting pretty opposite at 13 and 8, seemingly constantly at the opposite of whatever we're at.
You used to be in the middle. You used to be,
That's true. You two are usually the inverse of each other. I tend to be in the middle, but I'm sitting at 8 and 13. We are one and the same over here. So, Kate, what do you bring into the table for our battle? Our head to head.
This is what's funny. Head to head.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
We're laughing at good vibes over here. Anyways, our battle for rock bottom is gonna come down to the battle for the W's rock bottom.
Okay.
Ironic.
With the Lynx and Fever matchup tonight.
Okay.
I'm taking the Lynx.
Okay.
Better vibes, team.
I thought you just
Okay.
fade it.
I was
it.
considering between the Fever and the Wings. Why not? Since we're going head to head in records.
Yeah.
Let's go head to head on this game.
I love that.
Give me the Fever. Plus 120. I like it.
Okay.
I don't care that they're in Minnesota. I think that the Fever are a better team. So give me Fever money line tonight.
There we go.
I'm expecting a big game out of Bridget Carlton.
If Bridget Carlton puts me in last place for the first time on this show,
I'm getting a jersey.
You think after Canada sent all that wildfire smoke over to us this week that Bridget Carlton is going to go off?
The thing is, Canada's
lucky
sending
we
over
did.
that smoke because she's not in Canada.
Bro, that was
They're trying to get her
BC's
back.
fire.
That was the trail she left.
Exactly.
All
right.
There are people like
That's
using
kind
their
of
homes.
racist. All right.
David.
Damon, what you
guys,
got?
I feel bad for you. Just pick after pick.
Just wrong. Always wrong.
I don't know if I've gotten a W pick wrong in the walk-off segment
I
yet.
don't think so.
So I'm gonna get a little bold. We also just can't handle a parlay.
No, we can't.
So
To save our lives.
Yeah.
you
that's
know,
true.
I'm gonna get bold. I'm gonna go with parlay. I got Aaliyah Boston over 15.5 points tonight,
Okay.
and Lana Del Don over 19.5 points tonight.
Woo!
On FanDuel. So
All
that's
right.
plus 261.
Plus, that's
Okay.
solid value. Can respect it.
I think both are doable.
I like you, Dee. Not betting on Leah since the
After she
the
screwed
boards
us
here.
with 5.5 boards and she couldn't get
Yeah.
This is Leah Boston we're talking about. Can get 6 boards.
couldn't get 6
What are you
boards. You
doing?
were the number 1 pick.
What are you doing?
Player of the year.
Like, I don't know.
Oh.
That worries me.
Facts. If we're gonna talk about that Aces game real quick.
Bring it.
Settle
This
in.
completely changed the segment.
Last thing. Aaliyah Boston, there's like 12 seconds left. Aaliyah Boston has 5 fouls. And the Aces dribbling it out. The Aces grab a board, running down the court. Aaliyah Boston, 1 man to beat. Right? And she doesn't foul because she can't foul out. And no one helps her, and they let them dribble it out to like 3 seconds left. If you're talking about a young team that needs some, I don't know, basketball IQ, someone help her. You can't let your arguably your best player, other than probably Kelsey Mitchell, foul out in a tie game right there, and
Disaster.
no one helped her.
Disaster.
Go Lynx.
Fever, don't do that tonight. Do something better than that.
Anyway, I like Max's pick.
Hell yeah.
Thanks.
Go Fever.
I like my vibes.
All right. Here's some vibes for you. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you for watching. We are Max Clifford, Damon Borgia, and Kate Feast. Watch that part first. We'll see you next week.